Yo, yo, yo! If you guys are hearing this, you know what that means. We are back, baby! What can I say? I've got a great episode planned for today. Considering this is only my second, I have to say I think this is the best, or at least the second best, podcast episode to date. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and cue the intro.
What? What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Okay, guys, so I thank you all for joining me, and welcome back, attractive females who are obsessed with me, cool guys who want to get even cooler, and my mom. Woo! What a crowd we've got here. We had, I think, as of today that I'm recording this, I think we had 37 downloads in the last podcast, which is actually really good, and I was really surprised by it. And there was a lot of people who listened to the podcast on it lists on there as an unknown iOS app, which might be Stitcher, might be Google Podcast, or one of the ones that get automatically listed up through Google Podcast. So yeah, like that's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. 37's much better than I expected, so yeah, that's freaking awesome. And if you guys don't know, if you just listen to this podcast, I also have a YouTube channel now, or if you just listen to this podcast and you're my friend and you don't know that, go check out my YouTube channel. It's just my name, Colin, Keady, Colin, Keady. And I try to post some stuff on there. I really kind of, and I'll explain this real quick, I really like how fun vlogs are. They've just got that spontaneity to them and that upbeat nature, which I really love. But I love the purposefulness and the meaningfulness of like self-improvement channels, which is interesting because the strength of each kind of niche that I'm trying to get into is the weakness of the other. I mean, vlogs are fun, but they kind of lack purpose and meaning, which self-improvement videos are purposeful and really have a level of intentionality to them, but they're kind of mundane sometimes, a little bit too melancholy for me. So yeah, I'm trying to meet in the middle. Got some stuff going on. Took a trip to Little Rock, and at the same time kind of told the story of The Alchemist, which is a book that I really love. So yeah, I really hope you guys go check that out and bump up my subscriber count. You know, let me tell you guys, when I hit this big and we have a big setup, let me tell you, we're going to have guests on all the time. We're going to have Justin Bieber, okay? We're going to have Justin Bieber on one end, and you know who we're going to have on the other end? We're going to have Mike Tyson. It's just going to be crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. The unfortunate reality is I think we're a little ways out from that. We're working on it. But yeah, I just wanted to just kind of hop on here and talk about a few things going on. So I went to the casino the other night, okay? And I'm walking in with my buddy, and there's a bunch of us there going in, and we walked past this machine. I guess I was just the only person paying attention. And this lady's slot machine's lighting up. And by the way, I may add, I'm 20, almost 21, so this is like, we have to go to one casino because the other casino is 21 and up, and I'd prefer to go to the other one, but this one's our only option, so we all have to go here. But so does everyone else from my old high school and the surrounding high schools. It's just the popping place to be. But we're here. Sorry, I'm playing with my pen. I get too distracted. But we're here and we're walking by, and this lady's machine's lighting up, and she's got a few people around her, okay? I mean, and this lady's kind of happy, and somebody's yelling, like, congratulations or something, and I'm just like, I don't know what the heck's going on. And I look, and on the top of this lady's slot machine, it's like 101, like 900 and something. Like, this lady literally won $100,000 right in front of me, okay? Like, she literally won $100,000. It's like, why couldn't I have been on that slot machine, man? We could have had a freaking lit podcast, dude. We'd have a crazy YouTube channel. I mean, we could buy. Well, okay, $100,000 is not that. I was about to go on some really exuberant and absorbent. Oh God, I don't even know what I'm saying. But I could have got some really big examples, but the unfortunate reality is that I did not win. But I will take this opportunity to tell you all a little bit more about that visit, but about my casino strategy. So I go up, and I love the virtual tables. I don't know anything about actually playing at a table. I don't ever do that, so I just do the virtual ones. So sometimes I'll do blackjack, but my real calling, are you guys ready for this? Roulette, okay? And if you ask me what my roulette strategy is, it is not complex at all. Are you ready? I go in every time I go to the casino, put in $20 and either pick red or black. Literally, that is all that I do. I go in red or black. And so if I win 20 bucks and walk out with $40. But if I lose, I just lost $20. So in my eyes, that's a great way to limit not spending a bunch of money, but also kind of having fun. And if I win, it's like great. But I've literally gone to the casino a few times with a buddy, and we walked back to the table, stuck $20 in there, did it, and then just walked out. Like, that's it. Like, that's literally it. Just go in to get their free drinks. Back when I was a rebellious, and one might even say, just horrible human being, I drank carbonated beverages. Oh, I know you all are judging me. I used to drink those Cokes and those Pepsis, but I'm a reformed and changed man now, okay? I drink mainly only water. Sometimes I drink, like, sugar kind of water. Like, it's kind of still water. But every so often I have a Sprite, but that's like every 3 or 4 months that I actually drink a full, like, carbonated beverage. Oh, and while we're there, I'm just going to say I hate the whole pop, Coke, soda. I literally just call them, like, carbonated beverages. Or I refer to them precisely. So, do you want, what do you want? Oh, I'll take a Dr. Pepper. Not just a Coke or a pop. Like that, I cannot stand that. For some reason. But okay, back to the casino. I'm actually doing a good job of staying on track today. Man, this episode might be done. This episode might be done in a good amount of time. I have something else to say about that, but I'll try to stay on track. But here we are at the casino. And while I'm here, my buddy's friends, my buddy's parents are here as well, so we were talking to them for a little bit. But then my other buddy was there, and he was just turning 18, so they were all there to play and everything. But while they were over there talking, some of the other guys that I came with were playing, and they were testing out my roulette strategy. They were trying it. One guy in particular, goes to college with me, was doing it, but he had a little bit more advanced strategy. He was mixing in some of the lines, going on color specific, throwing them on the greens, the zeros, and he actually got up about $30 or $40 and then ended up losing it all. So yeah, you gotta know when to walk away, but I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I watched a lady win $100,000 at the casino, and it's like, why couldn't that have been me? I want everyone to close their eyes for a minute, unless you're like driving or walking. Don't do that then. But just think about it. What would you do if you got $100,000? What would you do? Now, part of that's going to be taxed, but what would you do? What would you do? And you know, I was thinking, I'd buy a huge library. I mean, a huge library. I have an entire part of my back room here, like our kind of game room kind of thing. I just have it filled with books. I mean, every single book you could ever think of. It's not going to be that big, but that'd be so great. And just invest the rest of it. Or probably put it away for law school. But that's besides the point. But I want you all to think about that. Think about what you would do with $100,000. Wow, $100,000. That is so much. So much. What would you do with it? Man, that's a big question. That is a big question. But to the tangent that I was thinking of while I was doing that, you know, I recorded another episode before this one that I was going to use, but I didn't like it. I asked some people what they think about a top 10 list episode, and they were like, "Oh, I love top 10 lists." So I was like, "Boom! I can come up with top 10 lists of just about everything." And so I talked about my top 5 recently read books. For you astute bookworms out there, you guys get it. You always are trying to find that new book. But I think I rambled on through all these, and so the episode was about 35 minutes, and I only got through 4 lists, and it's really only 3 lists. Because I had the top 5 recently read books, and then I had the top 5 John Mayer songs, which is a category I do feel very strongly about. And if you're curious, I will give you guys a little hint. Number 5 is Rosie off the Search for Everything. What an excellent song. That is such a great song. I love it. I love it. Number 4, Walt Grace's Submarine Test, January 1967. What a beautiful song that is. It really inspires us all to live our best lives. Number 3, Quiet off Inside and Once Out. And I'm just going to plug this in here. I think Inside and Once Out is just an amazing project by John. And that's like the EP he released before Room for Squares. And it's basically all acoustic. It's just so great. I definitely recommend you guys give a listen. Number 2 is Neon off Inside and Once Out as well. There's a few other versions of Neon. And I think the live in LA is definitely basically about the same as Inside and Once Out. Just doesn't have crowd noises. So, yeah, if you like the crowd noises, definitely go with the live in LA. But the acoustic version of Neon is just so great. And then number 1, Edge of Desire. I mean, this song by John is just amazing. Maybe this mattress will spin on its axis and wind up on yours. Or find me on yours. Regardless, what a great line. John, just his lyrical abilities is just killing it. I mean, he is just slamming on him in that song, and it's just such a great song. I definitely think you guys should go recommend it. You guys see what I'm saying? This is why I couldn't do this, because that right there was the best way I went through. I rambled on for about 15 minutes about the John Mayers. I mean, I'm telling you. I need to put a timer here, like they do on Sports Center, where they're like 60 seconds to talk about this, and then you gotta immediately go in the next one. But then I also talked about the top 5 cheeses, and if you know me, you know I love Tillamook shredded cheese because I'm from Oregon. Rep up to Tillamook. That stuff's the best. The farm style, the big shred, they're just immaculate. And then I went through my top 10 movies and shows, which I probably will do its own episode on at some point because I had a lot to say, and I literally took like 20 minutes talking through that. The episode was just way too long, and the pacing was not good, and as you guys know, I'm not going to put something out unless it is quite literally the greatest. I mean, what can I say? I mean, this is the best podcast on the internet. Who cares what Logan Paul thinks about Impulsive? This is the number 1 podcast in America with our 37 viewers. But hey, 37 is better than 35, man. It's always better. But yeah, so I'm working on that list videos. And you know, you guys, if you follow me on anything, you can always shoot me. You can always shoot me ideas. If you know me, and you think there's a great story that I've just forgotten because I'm not always the best at remembering those things, just shoot that to me, seriously. I mean, I'm always looking for ideas. But yeah, so we talked about the casino, the list. Here's what I'd like to tell you all about. I'd like to tell you all about my most embarrassing story, okay? And this is a great story. I mean, it's pretty embarrassing, but I'll contextualize it. So, my mom used to be involved with the Miss Arkansas pageant, okay? And so I would always go down and help her for the entire week. I mean, for some people it was a vacation. For me, I'd have to go work, so it was never that fun. But so we go down there, and where we'd sit for the pageants was on like the side. I mean, where it was at is kind of an arena. Like it actually is an arena, but just the last about a fourth of it is cut off with the stage, so no one sits back there. But we sat like if you're I guess it's stage right, but if you're looking at the stage, it's to the left, right over there. And so there was one time I was walking in, and the pageant had already started. Already started. I'm telling you, I don't know about my accent sometimes. It had already started, so I'm like, oh, okay, gotta get there. And I don't know for some reason, but I was walking backwards. So here I'm like, I'm thinking I'm like super cool. Oh, let me just crash down and run backwards, which I'm actually, not even capping, pretty good at. I'd like to think so, at least. And so here I am just going backwards and just going with the flow. And all of a sudden I hear this like clack, like a boom, and I'm on the floor. and I look, and it's a wheelchair, okay, and I, I hit someone's wheelchair, okay, and so then the guy, I saw him, and I remembered it, and it was a former Miss Arkansas's dad. Like, I recognized who they were, and so everyone on this side of the stage, well, on this side of the ring, is looking at me, like they are just intently looking at me, like, what is this kid doing? And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh, it's okay. And so here I am in front of this huge crowd, and like, and I just crashed into this wheelchair because I was just an idiot running backwards. And so I eventually made it back to this day. I was kind of flustered, to be honest with you, and then I started Snapchatting it. I bet this was about 3 or 4 years ago, but it's like this entire part of the arena of maybe about 500 to 1,000 people saw me do this. So that's what made it so bad. But then afterwards, because if you don't know, in the Miss Arkansas pageant, you have to have a talent. Like, you have to sing, dance, do magic, speed paint, play an instrument. Well, I've seen it all. But it was funny because he came up to me and he was like, that's the best talent I've seen all night, man. And so it was good because he kind of provided some levity to the situation. It was just like, really? That was just so stupid. That is definitely up there for the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. It definitely tops that. I don't even know what would be. I mean, I've said some stupid things sometimes and done some stupid things, but that is definitely number one, because just so many people saw, and no one else has ever mentioned it to me, so no one else recognized me or thought to mention it. So it's kind of one of those, like, there's no real point in making a big deal about it. But but yeah, that is my my most embarrassing story. But yeah. That is just so stupid. But I would like to now transition. I don't think I'm going to talk for too long in here. I just kind of wanted to hop on here and post something. I might do one later in the week with a little bit more structure and kind of talk about something specific. But yeah, I just kind of want to hop on here. But my final thing, I'm going to talk about some hot takes, okay? Hot takes. Takes so hot that if you touch them, ooh, you start to burn. Ooh, you just got served, son. Ooh. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. But I've got some quick hot takes here that I'm going to walk you all through. And if you feel so inclined, you can always shoot me an email at katiecolin@gmail.com. And you can always shoot me ideas too at that email, katiecolin@gmail.com. But hot takes. Number one, I'm going to come out swinging. This is going to tick a lot of you off, specifically probably females. But I don't think Taylor Swift is that good. I'm not saying that she's bad, okay? Because to say someone's bad basically means that they're just irrelevant and they shouldn't make songs. I'm not saying that she's bad. I'm just saying that I don't think her music is as great as everyone hypes it up to be. Now, granted, I really did like the old Taylor Swift. Romeo, totes, Romeo, I've been dreaming so long, I'll keep waiting. That song, low-key, kind of a banger. I mean, she's got some good teardrops on my guitar. When you think Tim McGraw, I hope you think of me. I mean, she's got some good old songs, but I just don't think her new music's that great. But maybe I need to listen to it some more. I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype. Number 2, Ted Lasso is the best show of the century. That is making a big claim for a show with one season. But if you guys have not seen Ted Lasso on Apple TV+, it is knock your socks off amazing. Great example of leadership, but it's just a great feel-good show. You watch that show and you're just like, wow, I want to be a better person. And Ted is just so relentlessly optimistic that you kind of agree with the people in the show that he's crazy at first, but he just wins you over. He just wins you over. So if you guys have Apple TV+, you have to watch that. Or if you don't have it, you got to pay the $5 a month just to watch Ted Lasso. Number 3, Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo is a certified bona fide banger, man. That song, low-key, like that, there was an SNL skit about it where all the guys are like, yeah, I think she's like talking about this guy that she used to date. It's like, but his name was Joshua Bassett. Now he's with Sabrina Carpenter. But like, I'm just getting that from the song. And it's kind of one of those, it's kind of a guilty pleasure song. No guy wants to be like, yeah, I love Driver's License, man. But it is a certified banger, and no one can attest. No one can disagree with that. I mean, I can attest to how great it is, but no one can disagree with that. By the way, High School Musical, the series, much better show than I thought it would be. I have to say, if you guys like me, grew up, born in 2000, so I was just at that age that the first High School Musical was maybe just a little bit too old for me, but I got caught up by the time that the second one came out and everything. But High School Musical, the series, not a bad show. It's just gonna be awkward now, but it's kind of a guilty pleasure show actually for me. Number 4. You should judge books by their cover. This is a real quick one, but it's like first impressions, man. You got to make a great first impression when you meet someone, and a book's cover is its first impression. So if it's a boring freaking cover, no, you should say, well, no one cared enough to make a cover that was going to be great. I mean, part of it is, yes, the artistic element of creating a good book cover, but another part of it's the marketing element. You want something that's going to stand out. YouTube thumbnails. If your thumbnails are really dark and you can't really see what's going on and they just say video, no one's going to really want to watch those, man. So it's about kind of finding that balance, but you should judge books by their cover. But you should not judge people for factors that they cannot control. I would just like to add that on there. I'm not saying that you should. I'm saying this in the literal sense that you should judge books by their cover, but in the metaphorical. Oh my god, metaphorical. It's kind of getting late. I'm not gonna lie. I did not sleep well last night. But in the metaphorical sense, you should not judge people based on factors they cannot control. Okay. Okay. I just had to put that out there. And the final hot take: the best fast food breakfast is Taco Bell. Hands down, undisputed, the absolute GOAT of the fast food breakfast division, Taco Bell. And specifically, their breakfast burritos with the bacon, egg, and cheese one with extra nacho cheese sauce. Man, ooh, it is 11 out of 10, man. It's like when you get home and you got a package that you ordered 8 months ago and it finally just got delivered. It is that sting. It is so good. It's like getting a podcast. It's like getting a new episode of The Loser Lounge with Colin, Keady. It is that good, man. I'm talking it up, but here's the issue though. They took it all away because of COVID. Like there's only a few places that have them, and they're only 24-hour Taco Bell, which are like hard to find now. They're few and far, which I don't understand. But yes, if you ever have a chance, Taco Bell has great fast food breakfast. Yeah, so I talked about the casino. We talked about my most embarrassing story, and we talked about my hot takes. So I appreciate you all listening through this point. And I'd like to tell you all real quick for ways to support the podcast. So, well, number one, you should check out my YouTube channel if you haven't. Like and subscribe. Colin, Keady, just same name that's on here. But if you guys are wanting to support the podcast, I think there's 3 different ways. First and foremost is just by following us on whichever platform. That just makes sure that you get notified when there's a new episode. Makes it super easy. Yeah. Number two, dropping a review. And I don't know if you can do this on Spotify, but on Apple, if you give me the 5 stars, you give us the 5 stars, and then write a review like 10 out of 10 or something, that like severely helps my ranking stats on Apple. Like that, you guys don't even understand how impactful that is for when it comes to like organic listeners and gaining those. So that honestly is a great way to help. But I think the third best way that you got, well, actually, this should be the best. This is the best of the best of the best way to help. It's just number 3 in this. Number 3. I'm telling you guys, number 3 in this sequence. And that's posting you listening to this podcast on your story. I mean, that is great. I mean, seriously, that I think gets more viewers than anything. And just telling your friends, hey, you checked out this podcast? Yeah, this is my friend Colin, man. He has a sick podcast. It is off the chain. That really helps them, because when you post me up on it's kind of us, we're all in this journey together. But when you post us in the podcast on your like Instagram or Snapchat, or on Snapchat, you can do the swipe up and give them the link. But what you're doing is you're basically just signifying to everyone, it's like, yeah, I recommend this podcast. It's just like posting a song on there. I mean, when you all know, when you post a song on Instagram, you want people to go listen to it and be like, it's a great song, man. It's the same thing with this. And try to invite people to come and listen to this. So, yeah, I really appreciate all the support and all the listens thus far. And you guys know you can always contact me on my social medias or on Keady, Colin at gmail.com. So, yeah, this has been The Loser Lounge with Colin Keady, and I thank you all so much for listening. I'll catch you in the next one. And peace out, Girl Scouts. See ya.